What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out Stardeus, I don't know. Either way, in this game, you're an all-powerful AI that's trying to reconstruct a ship after the Earth has been destroyed. So effectively, you've got a ship, it's got Stasis Pods full of humans on it, and you are an AI that's running all the robots that's reconstructing the ship so that you can resurrect the humans, and you can bring them all out of stasis, and then fly on to greener pastures because the Earth done been detonated. If after watching this video, you wanted to check the game out for yourself, I'll have all the requisite links for you down below so that you can either wishlist, support on Kickstarter, whatever it is that you want to do. Aside from that, you'll also find links to my Discord and my Twitch stream where you can hang out with me live pretty much every single day. So anyways, let's dive on into Stardeus because, I'm pretty sure this game is kind of like Starhaven, where the setup at the beginning is going to probably take up most of the entire video just because it's a lengthy process, dude. Humans are temperamental and they are not good at surviving in the void. They have this tendency to have, their eyes explode out of the front of their heads and stuff like that. I know, puny humans, they don't seem to have the resistance to this environment that we, the superior robots, have. So anyways, we'll start a new game. We'll leave everything on just kind of the default sizes. Alright, uploading neural network to host, disabling input-output to reduce the initial shock, enabling visual input from the overhead drone. 3, 2, 1. Greetings, colonist. I am Ship OS, an artificial intelligence that controls the ship. There was a catastrophic failure that triggered an upload of human consciousness. You were selected as the most compatible surviving subject, and I'm sorry. Oh, I guess we're not a robot. I thought that we were the computer itself. This is our ship computer. We're gonna go ahead. There's 600 people inside of there, so we're gonna skip the tutorial for right now, and I'm gonna pause up the game because at cursory glance, this game is basically RimWorld in space, but there are sort of supply chain factorial elements that I think go into the game as well. But for right now, we're going to want to try to decide what we want to do. Oh man, we did not start out with a lot of space to play around with. Okay, so our battery is over here. That really sucks. I wish that the battery was not over there. I wish it was in a different spot. Oh well, we'll deal with it in a minute. We'll deal with all that in just a little while. So as you can see, this is the remnants of our ship. We can zoom pretty much all the way out. This is the grid that limits the size of the ship that we can build. So as you can see, the scale of the game is actually quite large. At certain points, you're going to have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of colonists all living on your ship, doing various activities, doing certain jobs, stuff like that. But for right now, what we'd like to do is we need to set up some basics. So what I'd like to do is sort of just shave all this stuff over here so that we get a little bit more managerial control over what it is that we actually want to accomplish. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to just kind of chisel away at some of these little things over here. I'm trying to limit the amount that I'm going to have to do repairs and whatnot too. That'll work for right now. They can probably cannibalize this over here too, just to get us moving. And then we'll pop it into high speed mode, and as you can see, our little Joni the Dronies are going to go ahead and get the job done. We're going to tear off the outer bulkhead right here and get rid of this hull, and then we're going to get rid of all this extra sort of ancillary flooring over here, just to give us easy access to a bunch of materials that we can use in order to build our ship. As of right now, we have control of 5 drones, and we have a couple of oh no. Oh, good. The drones will rescue the terrestrial drone if it gets trapped. You love to see it. I was a little bit worried I was going to have to build a bridge back to, save him, but it looks like you don't actually have to do that, so huzzah, developers. That's actually one of those minor AI things, like them getting stuck out in the middle of space or having things deconstructed out from underneath them, that a lot of games, even, in their release version on Steam, do not have, so well done. I'm glad that you've already got that contingency solved. We're going to add some more flooring on this side, I think. Make this a little bit larger, like so. We're going to need building room. This is our central computer right here. The central computer is the most important part of the game. If the central computer dies, we die. That's it. We don't have access to anything. Inside of this is stored all of our information, all of our blueprints, all of our processing capability, which determines how fast we do research and whatnot. So losing this, kind of a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and hook the ship computer up to the battery. Oh, it won't let me do that for right now. Okay, that's fine. We'll finish off the flooring right here, and then we'll talk about what we need in order to get that up and running in just a minute. This game, while at a cursory glance, it looks very, very similar to RimWorld, is actually different in a lot of ways. I think some of the things that they've done with the game are deliberate in order to just be different from RimWorld, regardless of whether or not. So here's the thing. I'm going to say this at the outset of this video. This game has a very crunchy UI. Like, it has stuff all over the place. It has menus everywhere. It has things you're constantly trying to pay attention to. And honestly, I feel like what they should do is they should just ape RimWorld. Tynan Sylvester has created one of the best UIs for a colony game in, like, video game history. And honestly, I don't think there's any shame in just, you know, shamelessly copying his UI because it's that good. I mean, I have trouble thinking of other games with UIs as clear and as easy to navigate as RimWorld. There's a couple bumpy spots with RimWorld, but, like, those bumpy spots were going to happen either way because the bumpy spots are caused by mechanics being bumpy. And just needing that extra level of micromanagement, and you just can't get around it. Let's go ahead, and we'll go ahead and fiddle with all this. He's going to get trapped again. He just disassembled a floor that was underneath him. Poor little guy. He wants to help. He's enthusiastic. That's the best that I can say about that little drone right there. What's his name? Helen. Her name. Helen is enthusiastic, and Helen just can't help herself, okay? Helen just wants to be in the trenches and wants to assist. We're going to need some electrical generation. I think that if we start out with a couple jennies, like so, I think that's perfectly fine. They'll go ahead and get those constructed, I hope. Maybe they won't, actually, because we don't have a charge station available. She ran out of battery a lot faster than I expected her to. Okay, that's fine. We have access to a charge station, so we can put it in right there unless it requires 3 construction. Nope, it only needs 2 construction skills, so I think we'll be okay. I'm going to have you guys go over here, and you go over there. All right, and we got our electrical grid connected. If you don't know what these are, they're basically electrical pylons. They give you 8 connectors that you can use to connect to various things that are all over the base. They are all low on electricity right now, so until this gets built, we're going to struggle a little bit. It's going to be a little bit difficult. All right, so there we go. We'll connect that right there, and so now they should jump on the charger, and that'll buy us a minute so that they can finish this all off. They're going to, like, work very, very slowly until they get recharged. I think they have some kind of, like, base level. Like, I don't think they go dead or inactive when they run out of electricity. That's not something that I personally have ever seen happen, but they do work a lot slower once that happens. We'll go ahead and we're going to connect these jennies over here. There we go. Jenny's connected. Now that the Jennies are connected, we got to select an input from the fuel list. I'm just going to burn steel. These basically convert matter into electricity, and that's... Don't question it any further than that. They can burn anything. And steel plates are what we have a lot of, so that's what we're going to go for. While we wait, I would also like to put in another charge station right there just to make things a little bit cleaner and ensure that we don't have any more robot bottlenecks from charging. There we go. And so we'll connect you on over to there. So now we have 2 charge ports. Unfortunately, these guys are very, very, very uncharged right now, so it's going to take them a little bit of time to play catch up. But other things that are important on the map that we probably want to be aware of right now are Stasis Pods. This thing is not connected to the electricity grid. What that means is that it's going to begin decaying effectively, and so we kind of need to get this hooked up to the electricity grid about as soon as possible. And then on top of that, we also want to start prepping for just kind of the humans being here. That's the other part, is that we sort of need the humans to be here. And so anyways, let's get going with that. I'm going to go with some floors out here. I'm not going to particularly worry about them matching or anything for right now. We don't have access to the technologies that are going to allow us to have matching floors anyways, so I don't think that there's any point in stressing about it. We'll add an extra floor right there. We'll add an extra floor all the way done and down right there. And then I'll probably get rid of those floors right there. I would like to get rid of the glass at some point. I do think that that's a really good idea, but I think that's kind of one of the tasks for later. We'll worry about that in a bit. We'll get that assembled right to there. And then we can also fix anything that's damaged for right now. There we go. So everything has been all patched up, so we don't have to worry about collapses or anything else of that variety. I would like to enclose this with walls. The problem is the computer generates like a ton of heat. And so my recommendation would be that maybe we consider the possibility of popping like maybe a hole around here with a catwalk that goes to it so that this area is always kind of out in the void. I know that sounds sort of haphazard and terrifying, but I do think it's going to be necessary. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to build some basics for right now. That's all that I really supremely care about, is that we have kind of a basic hull all ready to go. So I'm going to pop in walls. We can always kind of move these around a little bit later if we find that they're not to our liking as our ship develops and gets bigger. I will try to like shape it and make it look a little bit nicer, but there you go. There's the basic floor plan for our ship for right now. I'll probably leave holes open on the sides too. Actually, no, I won't. I'll leave that right there, and actually, we'll just kind of cut this straight back this way. We'll just make like a long rectangle for right now, and then we'll make like an outer hull later on that makes it look more like a spaceship as we... Like, right now, we're in utilitarian mode. We just need this thing to fly, and we need it to support human life. We should probably start off with some research. That'd be a good place to go. One thing to keep in mind is that your research is limited by space constraints in this game. So your central computer, it has hard drives, and it has processors. And, like, it can only do certain researches if it has enough processing power to crunch the numbers on it, and then you only get to keep those researches if you have enough space to store them on your hard drives. And so these are all things to kind of be aware of as you're developing forward in the game. We'll go ahead and push this on back to... I'm actually going to take this. I'm going to put it all the way back to here because we need to get to this chunk of ship anyways so that we can rescue the Stasis Pods. And so, like, I'm going to be building in this direction anyways. I don't see any real reason not to do it. We'll go ahead and get that all nice and constructed and come back when it's done. Okay, so now that our beautiful little chunk of hull is starting to come together, I think I'm going to use this as a central storage space. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do with it. I'm not, like, totally sold on the idea just yet. We could also do, like, a little storage bay over here where we could keep stuff. But honestly, it doesn't really matter where we put it for right now. Let's go ahead and slow the game down now that they're done with the work, and we need to get some more hull put in. We'll knock out holes in the walls as necessary. For right now, I just want this central area to be connected, so we'll get that going, and then we're going to need storage modules, and so I think I'll put my storage modules... It's going to be tough to move stuff around after we do this, so we kind of want to be careful about it. But what I'd like to do is we'll just put in 4 of those bad boys right there. Pressing R to rotate, we'll put in 4 more right there, so we've got like a nice hallway. This should be all the storage that we need for like a very, very long time. Construction's going to take a little while just because we're on limited manpower for right now. I do have a research running right now for computing. The reason that I'm doing that is because we're not going to be able to get to like tier 2 researches, which are actually very, very soon, until we have all that stuff. And so, you know, one thing at a time. I would like to make a little catwalk that connects all this. Hey, computing is done. Very nice. We'll make a little catwalk right there, just like I said that I would. Perfect. Get that little catwalk done, and they're just cannibalizing everything they can find right now from these outer areas. Good. The other thing, that's a lot of glass right there. That's not going to be that helpful. I would recommend that we start disassembling maybe this side of the hull right here, just to get some extra steel to play around with, since our entire power grid is sort of reliant on that steel existing. I'm a little bummed out that my robot over here is helping, but she wants to help, man. Helen is a helper, all right? And what did Mr. Rogers say? You always got to look around for the helpers. Now, you may note that we have no research running right now, and there's a reason for that. If we slow down the game for a second, we can go to the research menu, and what you'll note is that we have our storage right here, and we have our memory, and we have our CPU processing ability. Memory's good. We're all solid on memory, but storage-wise, we're going to be hurting pretty soon. So I kind of want to lay the groundwork for getting all this functioning about as soon as possible. And the first thing you're going to need is loads and loads and loads of electrical hubs, dude. Electrical hubs in this game, there's no getting around it. You're going to need a ton of them. So I'll put in some electrical hubs over here. We'll also start getting started with running the power grid over to save the people from the stasis pod about as soon as possible. And as you can see, they're putting all that stuff in. The reason why I want these little pylons inside of here is that I'm also going to use this as a data storage area. So this is going to be like our server racks. I'm going to be putting in all of my storage servers over here. And then when it comes to processing power, we'll probably slot those into a different room just to make it a little bit cleaner. It does look a little bit cluttered and ugly inside of here, and I don't think we've got a whole lot of ways to resolve that. So my robots are looking good over here, slap in those walls. Sometimes the robots do seem to struggle with certain construction projects, and I don't know why. There's steel plates like right here, but sometimes they don't want to just move it over here and construct that. I think they're... What are they doing right now? They're apparently hauling glass from halfway across the wreckage site. I don't know. Sometimes they do things that you can't predict. I'm going to go ahead and connect these two guys up right here. Connect you to you. Connect you to you. You're going to be responsible to getting power towards the Stasis Pods. So there it is. We saved the Stasis Pod. It's at 70% cryo stability. I'd prefer for it to be like 72, 73%. That would have mean that I hustled over here fast enough to kind of like save some people. But people gonna die. There ain't no way around it. So we need to have some zettabyte storage over here. So I think that's where I'm gonna start. We'll go ahead and put in some storage racks. Just kind of sprinkled. There we go. There are easier ways to get this done if you need to. What you can do is you can... I'm gonna tell them to just haul all of that. Yes, I confirm the mass hauling order. It's fine. Mass haul for me, baby. Your CPU determines how many tasks you can give people at a time, so it gave me a warning right there because my CPU was insufficient to basically have like 100 workers working on moving 200 things. But since I don't have that many workers and I'm not really that worried about a bottleneck, I'm just going to have them do their thing over here and they can drag it all back to storage. And as you can see, our first storage cabinet filling up pretty nicely right now so that we have the things available inside of our storage. One thing that I have noticed about their hauling and their moving stuff around is if it's in storage, then they never ignore it. But if it's just like floating around randomly in little areas, sometimes they seem to know it's there. Other times they're just like, meh, and they like don't care about it. And I haven't really been able to determine why. I think there was something in the tutorial about like outside of your hauling range or something else like that. But honestly, I don't know, dude. I'm not like a tutorial guy. I never have been. I like to jump in and just fiddle with it. Like, that's what I find enjoyable is like a game that is fiddleable. Like, you can just jump in with no experience and just start pushing buttons, man. That's how I learn games. And then if I get really stuck, I just go watch a YouTube video or something. Okay, so from here, we are now on somewhat safer ground. I'm going to put in a little thing right there, and then we're going to knock out that wall right there so that we can make kind of a larger area over on this side. I did want to measure this right here and see how big it is. So that right there is a 24 by 10. So ideally, I would like for this to be like a 24 by like 15. Just to give me some space to play around with. Oh, I guess it doesn't want me to do that. All right, that's fine. We'll start it out small then. We'll put it up like so, like a so. We'll put it up like that, and then I'll probably knock out another wall right here for another door. I think. So with our storage space, we need to start connecting some of this stuff to the grid. The way that I would do it is just manually. There is a tool. There are several tools, in fact, that help out with this, but what I prefer to do is just to do it all manually. I'll show you the other tool in just a minute so you can be kind of aware of what the developers are fiddling with. So basically, if you open up the pylon, you can go to the connections menu right here, and by proximity, it'll be sorted from top to bottom, and you can click and disconnect things if you want to. There's also an auto connect, but like every time I use auto connect, it gets really messy and very spaghetti base, and I don't like that. I don't like it, and so I don't do that thing. So now we have hard drive space, which is great, because if you take a look, we now have 112 zettabytes of storage. The other thing we need is memory modules, and so memory modules are going to be up next, and I'll more than likely put the memory modules, just kind of 2 or 3 of them up against the walls on this side. Might be easier to do that. Where's my memory modules at? So it's going to give me... So that'll give me 12 more memory on each side. We're probably going to need to get some more electricity flowing too. And so I'm not adverse to the idea of adding like 2 generators right there just to help out a little bit with the throughput. Because you never know. You never know. You take control of these guys over here. You take control of these guys over here. Okay, I don't know what our power draw is looking like right now. Our battery does not seem to be going down, so I assume that our draw is okay. And now we can start with research to get these humans all nice and comfy. I would start with, so like, what are some of the basic things that humanity needs? Well, we're not I mean, we do like breathing, so I think that's a good place to start, so we can do an atmospheric control. After that, I think we're really adverse to freezing as well. I think that, you know, humanity we don't like being cold, and so we'll try that out too. Let's go ahead and put in some new flooring over here. What did we already have? We had 24 by 5, so we want 24 by 10 now. There we go. And that's really just something to give them access to. We do have one storage connection left for each of these jennies. I planned that. And then we'll go steel plates inside of that one. We'll go steel plates inside of that one. And it looks like we are now doing a decent job with our power grid. I would like to be able to make more batteries. I'm not in love with where we're at right now with our battery situation. But, you know, problems for a different day, I guess. That's a future Splat problem, not a current Splat problem. All right, so I'll put that right there, and then we'll have like a little door that gets added right there. I'll probably add some doors over on this side too. He's still got a couple of connections left, as does he, so like we can go ahead and put in doors and things as well. Let me go ahead and do that. We'll get a door set up there and there. We'll get a door set up there and there and there. You do have to, so one of the things, I wish that the doors functioned independently of power. You do actually have to account for your doors in your power grid. They have to hook up to a pylon, otherwise they just stay open all the time. I do wish that there was just a manual door, so you could use these for things that face the void or like pressure sensitive areas or whatever else. But you know, not the way that it works. So if you've got a couple of connections left, I'm going to save your connections just in case I need to add some stuff. And then, yeah, you can be responsible for those. Oh, it's not constructed yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so we have this extra little area now. We have to decide what we want to do with it. I don't particularly know what I want to do with it. But we could just kind of extend. I'm kind of just laying down a blueprint for right now, is really what I'm focusing on. Yeah, we can put that out to there. We're having to go a long way to get steel, so I think it's a good idea that we start murdering this chunk of ship over here. Especially since our power grid is reliant on that steel. Like, we've got to consume the metal in order to, like, take care of business. And so, you know, since we're going heavy metal consumption right now, I'm going to knock off a couple chunks of this big piece of hull over here, and we'll reassemble it into something a little bit more organized. The idea that I'm playing around with in my head is that there will be a 2-space corridor around this area, and this will just be a collection of rooms. What we use them for, I haven't decided yet, but this room will be very much the same thing. Oh, good. We've got temperature control and we've got atmosphere control. Fantastic. Next up, I like the idea... What is it? Ooh, we can get a 16 connector. That's pretty nice. We can get switches. Let's work on construction speed next. We'll do that. That'll just make it faster to set up this little basic area. I try not to get ahead of myself, because the few times I've played the game and I've gone for faster construction first, I run out of space before I can get basically my data center set up, and then I've got other problems, and it just kind of all falls apart. We don't have a lot to... Why are you guys... I need you... Why are we not doing this right here? Is there a... there it is. He was taking like a little robo break. Having a little robo boogie session right there. All right, fair enough. That's an airlock. We definitely don't want to mess around with that, although I may make a little room over here that connects to just kind of a little thruster, and then with a little airlock next to the thruster for later. Okay. I think... What is that? A vent? Okay, vents are going to be important. We're gonna need those at some point. Vents are important. I'm just gonna seal this off for right now. Okay, so I've given the map a little 10-minute tidy, and I've gone through and just kind of cleaned things out so that we have the resources we need available. I assume that there's an overlay around here somewhere that tells me what resources that I have. You can find all the various overlays for the game in the top right-hand corner, along with all of the things going on. Uh-oh. Our life support lacks power because I'm busy inventing the Matrix right now, so there's less of a chance. I can put the life support, I can put this thing over here, the cryopods, I can put them in Matrix mode, which lowers the rejection rate of people just like dying in stasis. It makes them happy, okay? And so anyways, I'm going to give them wonderful dreams of like nothing but eating steak and lovemaking, and they can exist inside my virtual world, and then be absolutely shocked to find out that the real world actually kind of sucks. Like, you definitely don't want to be in the real world on this weird junker of a ship that I've created. So, we do need to... Is it actually heating up in here? It says it's heating up in here. It is actually pretty hot inside of here. I should probably do something about that. Let's just pop a hole in the hull. It's the easy solution. Maybe I'll just leave the entire wall open over here. Our supercomputer is creating far too much heat. And so there we go. Now it should disperse a little bit now that we've opened the whole thing up to the vacuum. That's why I said I was going to knock out some of these floors over here. And in fact, I think I'll probably do that now. We'll probably go like something like this right here. There we go. I find that it's usually a good idea to have a hole somewhere inside the processing room. Otherwise, it overheats like crazy. So there we go. That should definitely help out. Perfect. The downside is when humans come inside of here to do maintenance and do stuff, they are not going to like the temperature one little bit. But there's really no way around it. You can get refrigeration units later on so that you can seal this off, and you can turn this basically into an ice box. But for right now, not going to be an option given our resources. So really what I'd like to do now is we'll start to get the basic living areas for the humans done. I don't know if this spacing is going to work. It looks like I'm going to have to add like one more. There we go. And then what I would like to do is there's a cancel task button. We'll do that right there. It doesn't look amazing, but I think it's the best that we've got for right now with what we've got going on. And then I will disable you. I will put you right there, and then I'll put you right there. I'm actually thinking that this is going to be the bridge, and this will just be some more like extra space for just like rooms. I haven't decided what kind of room I want yet, but it's going to be extra space for rooms. Let me draw it out real quick. We'll basically have that go like that right there. Could probably space that out by one more, just to give a little bit more room to whatever it is we're going to be doing inside of here. Yeah, that'll work for right now. I don't hate it. Actually, I still need the cancel tool. We'll cancel right there, and then cancel right there. And so now we've got the interior of the ship coming together, which I'm actually very, very happy about. They'll put that all together, and then we're going to need to decide on basic living quarters. So I'm thinking we have like a shower in the middle with like a bathroom with like facilities and stuff. We are going to need to put in vents so that there's airflow between all of this. We need another door right there to kind of like separate these areas from one another. We'll need vents going into this room too, because oh, actually no. The storage mediums are not producing that much heat. And so we're probably in okay shape right there. Let's go ahead and doors. Seal those off. Doors good to go. I think we're only really going to need like 2 pylons in each of these hallways. And I think if we're smart about it, we can use our extra space right here to do it. That actually is organized, and I like it. Normally, I'm not known for the organizational qualities of my base, but that actually works out really, really well. The downside here is I'm going to have to move these at some point so I can put a door in right here and keep expanding in this direction. But for now, I'm happy with what we've got going on. I think the ship looks really, really cool, in fact. The downside is we're running out of time in this episode, and so unfortunately, I may have to go. So basically, this is Stardeus. If you've never seen Stardeus before, that's because it's pretty much brand new. That's all there is to it, is the game is basically trying to find funding and do its own thing on Kickstarter for right now. The things that I do like that even in their earliest alpha that they're just using as an idea pitch, it's clear that some thought has already gone into the AI logic when it comes to hauling. So, for example, like our robot destroyed the floor out from underneath himself, and another robot came and automatically rescued him. Stuff like that is a very, very good sign. It means that the developers are forward-thinking. It means they're playing their own game. It means they're running into the problems that are coming up and they're fixing them. A lot of these little colony managers, you find all kinds of weird logic errors where the game is performing logically, but it's not performing, I guess... It's performing logically, but it's not performing like you want it to perform, basically. We do need to get some sanitation and some stuff for our people, I think. Research is done. We're drawing too much power right now. I need to set up some kind of power grid, I think. I could put in a couple more gens over here, but, like, I just don't know. Nah, it's recharging. We're still good. Yeah. So anyways, things like that I notice are really, really good. The things I don't like is that the UI is very, very... all over the place. Like, so, like, a lot of the things you click on, they have kind of this optional menu where you have different interactions and things you can do straight from it. I mean, you can do, like, the auto connects and whatnot. I do think that the UI in a lot of ways could be streamlined and, like, certain functions could be combined with each other via just, like, a keybind or whatever. And it's possible that keybind already exists and I just didn't track it down while I was fiddling with the game. But stuff like canceling, for example, shouldn't be in a nested menu. Canceling should be in the main menu because that's, like, you want to look at the functions that the player is going to be using in your game and kind of condense down, like, what are the 10 functions that I can put across the bottom that they're going to be using more than anything else. And stuff like canceling an order is definitely, like, a big one. I would also add the option to move things. And so, like, if you just want to click a button and move something to somewhere else, that's always something on a colony manager that I look for. But aside from that, it's the earliest alpha, so I can't really critique too much. And I don't really want to give too many of my thoughts because proper development of the game will more than likely begin after the Kickstarter goes through. And so anyways, this is just kind of a tech demo for them to show off the ideas that they currently have available. That being said, I did go through the gameplay options, and I'm pretty happy with the option menus, in all honesty. When you go through the options, like inside video, there's already quite a few things to fiddle with. There's, you know, VSync, like the basics are all there. With the audio inputs, they've got it split up into a bunch of different things. You can even control, like, how much silence there is between background music tracks. And so I've got a feeling that, like, these developers are, like, dedicated to this project because the little accoutrement, like the little, just, I guess, accessories that go with the game are largely, like, already kind of, like, here in their tech demo, and that's always a really, really good sign. When those things are missing, that's what worries me. But, like, for a tech demo, I wouldn't expect those things to be there, and they already are. So there you go. Stardeus. I'll see y'all later. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. I'll see y'all next time, and I'll have something for you fresh and hot off the indie skillet. Bye, everybody.